You are running your fashion brand, and maybe you even hit your first 50, 100 or 200K per month, but you're hitting a revenue plateau and you can't seem to break through. And because of that, you're constantly being pulled in every direction while you search online for the next marketing tactic to grow your clothing brand, slowly stretching your attention and becoming more and more overwhelmed until you finally break and have no idea what to do. Meanwhile, you see brands like Skims, Vuoiri and TrueClassic making hundreds of millions in a matter of years, while every guru, agency or expert is telling you to try TikTok ads, download a CRO checklist or get a UGC subscription service. And each one of them promising you to make $1 gazillion without lifting a single finger.
Are you kidding me?
And the next thing you know, you're spending hours and hours watching YouTube videos and binge watching every episode of Shark Tank, thinking that the next little secret to that 8-figure level is right around the corner. But let me tell you a hard truth, my friend. It doesn't work like that. And if your brand is not scaling, it's probably because of one or more of these 4 core principles not being in place. And before you think this is just another secret hack from a basement guru selling courses, I can promise you that you don't know my background story. And these 4 core principles are formed over my last 7 years of scaling and going through trial and error of helping all these fashion brands. And they have laid the foundation to scale some of my clients from the near zero to all the way up to $300,000 a month. So without further ado, let's start with core principle number 1. So number 1, people try to get away with a product that people don't like, okay? You need a really good product, okay? That is the number 1 most important thing. And before you skip this video, don't fool yourself thinking that you have a great product, okay? Let's be honest with yourself. Think and look in the industry, and is it actually a good product? Do you actually have all your customers referring people or not? Because if that's not the case, you probably don't have a good product and you probably shouldn't be scaling anything in the first place. If you're not sure about what I mean with product, I'm talking about quality. I'm talking about style and differentiation. Is this something that is not a copycat of what is already out there for hundreds of other brands? And if you're not sure about your product, then I highly recommend to read you Yvon Chouinard, any of the books that are from the founder of Patagonia. So if you want to have like a starter course in that, I would highly recommend to go through these books and also start learning more about the production process of your product. See how you can be the best and how you can really create the best product and hone your skills and work on the product first. So I don't want to go too long in the product section of the video, because this video is not for people who have a shitty product. This video is going to be for the people that are already crushing it, assuming they already have a great product, okay? So that brings me to step number 2, which is the fundamentals, okay? I see a lot of brands and they have a great product. They have a great collections, the designer is amazing and they're doing great work, but their fundamentals of the business are not in place, okay? So for example, logistics. How long does it take to ship the product to the customer? How long does it take to identify a best-selling product and to then restock that product? Is that a process of 60, maybe 45 days? Or do you have to wait for 6 months or even 12 months to get that product stocked up, okay? If that's the case, it's really impossible to scale your clothing brand because you really cannot scale at the velocity that is necessary. Number 3, for example, is very bad return policies. If you have like a possible return policy for your customer, people do not feel comfortable buying, and that is simply because you don't have logistics in place. Or another example is I see fashion brands having lawyer-like messaging on their website saying that the taxes and duties are borne by the customer. What are the taxes and duties? No idea. You'll figure that out when you receive the package, okay? That is a very good reason for a customer to say, look, I just don't trust this stuff. I'm gonna go to Revolve or Net-a-Porter where they have the custom duties and taxes paid for upfront, okay? So logistics is a very simple example if you wanna have a core fundamental. These are like the fundamentals. They gotta be strong, okay? Differentiated product, a very clear messaging, So make sure that your messaging is very strong for one particular audience, okay? That is super important. If you're supporting people of all body types, you don't want to be at the same time supporting people who are bodybuilders, okay? Those two things, those two mindsets are not gonna go together, okay? So you gotta make a decision, and the decision is incision. And incision means what do you not do, okay? So that is number 2, is have very core fundamentals. It's super clear what you're about. The logistics are in place. The operations are good. The team is great. The quality of the product is great. You have good relations with your suppliers. You do a lot of things in-house, okay? Number 2. Number 3, okay, is CRO. So most of you already have a great product, already have the fundamentals in place. Now the third thing that is going to be extremely important is that when somebody clicks on an advertisement or somebody is referred to your website, they go to your website, what do they see? Do they see clean design, great images, a clear concept, or are they confused with a slow website with information that does not match up with their thinking? Okay, so what I recommend is that you look at your conversion rate and you honestly have a look and say, is this matching up with industry averages? How am I benchmarked to my peers? And is my website actually very clear? And is the UX and the UI of my website great? Now, a couple of tips to improve that is, for example, start with a Shopify website. Okay, if you're still in WooCommerce, it's not gonna work, okay? You gotta move either to Shopify, or if you really wanna be at the edge of e-commerce, maybe look into a more custom solution like Centra.com. Now, let's say you have the Shopify website, you wanna make sure you don't use any of the free themes, okay? The first step would be to get a paid theme and then use a developer to then improve that theme, or work with an agency that builds a custom website for you on the Shopify platform. And then make sure they have experience with high conversion rate optimization, high average order optimization, and they have experience within your specific industry, okay? If they don't have that, they are probably gonna make you a very beautiful website, but it's not gonna be optimized for sales. So that will be a simple step to start with. Now make sure you have great images. Make sure there's videos demonstrating the product, okay? Don't come with your transparent background images or pixelated images from the last century, okay? We want to have extreme high quality. You gotta be at the top of your game because the competition in this market is fierce. It's gotta be the best, okay? And this is not hard to do. You just find a great photographer on Upwork or Fiverr or in your network. It's probably the best. And make sure that they have experience and that they are the best, or have your in-house team do it and make sure that they are extremely good at what they do, okay? Look at the top brands in the space. Look at maybe the top retailers, Farfetch, Net-a-Porter, Revolve. Look what they are doing and try to match up their quality, because that is where the standard is right now. Then, if you have those 3 in place, then you can think about scaling, okay? I see a lot of brands, they're doing 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. They do not have that in place. But let's say you're at 100K per month, you're doing well, but you still have a revenue plateau, because every time that you scale, you see your return on ad spend lowering, okay? Now, the reason that is because a lack of quality ad creatives. Maybe you're running ads on TikTok, meta ads, so that would be Facebook, Instagram, or maybe you're even deeper into the platforms like Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're advertising, you need to have winning ads. All the leverage nowadays is in the advertising. What is really gonna increase the return on ad spend is a really good ad. And the reason for that is that all the advertising platforms, they have streamlined the media buying process. The algorithm is taking most of the work. The data points are very fierce, so there's not a lot of tricking the algorithm by targeting a specific niche or targeting an interest or lowering the ages from only 25 to 45 years old. That stuff is only going to be counterproductive. The number one thing to increase the profitability and therefore be able to scale further up your ad spend and therefore grow your revenue, the number one thing to do that is your ad creative, okay? Now you might ask, how many creatives do I need? Well, it's very simple. In the beginning, all the way up to 100,000 a month with website sales, you just need to find one viral ad. Now, once you have one viral ad, then you can go to the next step. But to get to that first viral ad, here's how I would start that, okay? And this is also what we do for most of our clients that we get from the $0 to $300,000 a month process, okay? It is, you start with testing 10 new, wildly different ads every single week. So try to get a lot of variations into the ad platform. The way to do that is to do, for example, a studio shoot where there's a white background and you work with a couple of models and you just get the studio shoot. Another content piece would be working with influencers. Another one will be a campaign shoot where you hire or rent a location and you really tell the story behind your collection. Okay, these are different type of contents, and what you can then do is take those contents and try different forms of editing. Okay, just doing this will really give your team or your in-house team or your video editor a lot of options, hundreds and hundreds of options to test out. And you can then start with testing 10 new creatives every single week. Okay, that's how it goes. If you need inspiration, you can go to the Facebook ad library or the TikTok Creative Center and then see what your competitors are doing or what other brands are doing that you're looking up to. Okay, so for example, you can type into the Facebook ad library Skims, you can find their account and then you can see the exact ads that they are running. And if you see anyone that you like, make sure to save them into a software called Foreplay. Okay, Foreplay will allow you to save all those ads into one bundle, and this will allow it to make it very easy for you to find and locate really good ad ideas that you have identified inside the Facebook ad library. Okay, so that's how you get the ideas. Then you need your video editor to create a lot of creations and have a consistent flow of new ads being launched. Work with influencers, work with your existing content, work with your product images, with your product videos, and this way you can start getting more variations. Now, as you're testing, you will start identifying an ad that gets an abnormally high click-through rate or return on ad spend. Now, if you're identifying those KPIs to be extremely high, that could be an example of an ad that could go viral with a little bit more ad spend, okay? So if that's the case, that is the one that you want to be putting all your money in. And if you're doing that, you can get all the way to 100,000 a month. Now, in order to be at 100,000 a month and go from there to 300, 400 or 500,000 a month while maintaining extremely high profit margins, that is going to require a new process, okay? And here's how that looks like. So what you want to do is you want to keep creating those viral ads, but these are the proportions that you would want to start with and then increase those proportions as you see fit. But I would start with the following example. So every week you make at least 5 wild experiments. So these are completely new ads, an idea that you got somewhere or your team came up. You want to have 5 of those ideas pumping into the ads manager every single week. Then you want to have 10 new versions of the type of ads that are already working. So maybe you have some kind of product demonstration ad that is working. Then you want to make 10 variations of that advertising type, but then with a different product. Okay, you just pick a different product and you test it with a different product, or you test it with a different model or in a different situation, but you keep the same structure. You want to have 10 of the things, 10 of the ads that are already working, but a slightly different variation. Now, number 3, you want to have 10 new variations of your winning #1 viral ad. So if you have 1 or 2 ads that are doing extremely well, you want to upload 10 new variations of that ad every single week, because that's going to be able to maintain the high profitability and the high ROAS of that ad. Okay, so what's going to happen with an ad? If you spend more money, it's going to get entropy. So in order to go against the force of entropy, against of those diminishing returns, you're going to need to upload new variations of that ad. Now, an example of a new variation that you can make that is very easy is to switch the first 3 seconds of that winning ad to a new 3 seconds that you think is better, okay? So there's one example that I'll share with you with, for example, this ad right here that is a pretty good ad by itself. What I would do in this case is I would take this middle clip here in the video, and then I would move this middle clip and move that to the first part of the video. And the reason why is that the model is looking into the camera and there's some kind of movement going on there. So that is what we did, and we saw an actual big increase in results on that ad that was already doing well. So that is one example. Another example is to have the exact same video with a new audio, or the exact same video with a new music, or the exact same video with a new call to action at the end. Okay, so those are examples on how you can make more variations of your existing winning ad. So just to recap, if you want to go from 100 to 500K per month, the only thing that you need is really better ad creatives. That is a very simple step. And the proportion that you want to have is 5 new experiment ads, and then 10 new ads of things that are already kind of working, and then 10 new variations of the exact winning ad that you're already running. And that is the exact process that we use as well to then help our clients go from 0 to all the way 300,000 a month while keeping extreme profit margins. And if you want to learn more about how that works, you can check out the website, or you can check out the YouTube channel. There I'm posting a bunch of content to show you what we're doing and give you kind of a behind the scenes look. So I hope this was valuable. My name is Thijs. I'm the founder at Econ Growth, and thanks for watching this video. Cheers.